Hey there, Prairie Plant Girl here. Well, it's the end of August, not even quite, and I have frost blankets up. Last night it got down to 3 degrees, and we were having a warning of a risk of frost, so I put the frost blankets up on a few things, my tomatoes, my squash, and just crossed my fingers that we weren't really going to get frost. We came down, the dew point was 2 degrees, so we came very close to it, but everything seems to have got through all right. And I was out earlier, I was going to put this away, but it was still wet, but it's dried out now. The sun is up nice and shiny now. So I'm going to take the frost blankets down, and then I'm hoping to get some potatoes harvested this morning as well. So, but I want to get the frost blankets down. It'll get more sun to these plants. It's supposed to be a nice sunny day, and it's supposed to be good now for the next forecasted week at least. So we'll get this frost blankets all put away. The good thing with frost blanket compared to using like cardboard or sheets or something like that is it does let some light through. Now this one that I'm standing beside is a very heavy frost blanket, so it doesn't let as much light through, and they breathe, so it will help. If you need to leave it up for a few days straight, you can certainly do that with frost blanket, and the plants will still be getting some light and air circulation through them, but it keeps the frost off. So I'm going to take these down now because they're dry now, and that'll get more light to the plants, and then I'll get some potatoes harvested. You can see where this one fell down because I had tried taking it down earlier, but it was wet. So this one, you can see, I think you can see through it a little bit, see me through it a bit more. And then I'll try and remember to show you with this. It's just a little thicker, heavier, so it handles colder temperatures better, but it lets less light through, whereas this will let more light through. So things to consider when you're looking at your frost blanket, looking to purchase, is the colder the temperature that it handles, which is usually on there written, or it'll be a heavier weight that lets less light through. And then they usually come in very narrow widths. I think it's 3 to 4 feet. And then I take them, cut them, they're usually a long length, so then I cut the length in half and I sew them together to make them wider. I don't know if you can see the seam down there. So a very simple way to just get it a little bit wider frost blanket. Little fit. I have 4 by 8 foot beds, so I find you need about twice the width as the width of the bed, and then about 2 to 4 extra feet for the ends, for the length, to get good coverage if you're just going over, like, say, like a 2 foot high hoop over your bed, which in the spring, which is when I use these a lot, is what I'm going over. Now, when you have mature plants, you need more to obviously get up over the mature plants, especially things like tomatoes or the big squash trellis that I put them over. So here's the heavier fabric, and like I can't see the camera through this one, whereas I could clearly see it through the other one, so I assume you can't see me through it. You can purchase these at garden centers. I purchased most of mine because I can get it in bigger sizes off Amazon, so I'll see if the sellers that I purchased them from are still on there. I'll put some links for you if you're interested. There, frost blankets off. Get them in my bucket, put away, and we'll go harvest some potatoes. Okay, so here's my potato bed. And like I said, it's a raised bed, and my raised beds are about 4 feet across and 8 feet deep. And this bed has 20 Alba Blush plants that I planted in it. Now I've harvested one, I think just one that I've taken out, and then I've come in and kind of dug around the ones around it a little bit and stole a few potatoes. And then I have one row of Caribe potatoes. I think there's 7 potatoes in that. So the Alta Blush and the Caribe are both 50 to 70 day varieties. And I planted these on April 24th. So they should be well past mature. They've been kind of sitting at this stage here. They're not all completely dried up. Some are completely dried up. But I turned the water off a few days ago. And we'll just go through. They're definitely nice potatoes in here, the ones that I've gotten out so far. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we can get. I brought out a couple of baskets. I kind of aim for around 6 to 8 potatoes from each hill. Sometimes you'll get less, sometimes more. It just depends on the year and the soil conditions and all that. But, oh, and this here, I'll move this out of the way. When I'm picking slugs, I just make some salt water and I just drop them in there. So that's what that's from. And then I just set it down. It's not attracting them or anything. So I'm just gonna get in here, and all I'm gonna be doing is finding a plant. Not much to this one, so pulled that out. And then I'll just be digging. And my soil's nice and loose, as you can see, so I don't worry about a digging fork. If you want a digging fork, I recommend that over a shovel. And try to go out, like if your hill's here, go out a little bit so that you're hopefully not hitting the potatoes. This one looks like it had a little bit of slug damage, but it's gonna be pulling potatoes. Oh, that's the seed potato, because I cut it and it's still quite firm, but the plants had died down and didn't use hardly, like you could almost cook with this seed potato. That's odd. Wonder what the rest look like. I don't grow Alta Blush a lot. I think I've grown it once before, maybe. We have been enjoying it. It is a drier potato though. I'm not getting a lot out though. I know I did grab a couple off of the side of it last night. And when you grow them this close together, you never really know when you're harvesting, if you're harvesting off the plant beside. But yeah, so that wasn't much. There was 4 potatoes there, but 3 were really tiny. They have little creases in them that look like slugs or something dug through them. So that's not very promising. That's the seed potato. You could almost just replant that. It's pretty disappointing, but we'll keep going and see what else is in here. So that's the next plant, completely died down. There's some nicer potatoes. Still not big. And I found skin from the seed potato, so this one did use up its energy. And up to 6, again, they're not huge, but seven. Little tiny guy. Eight. So I got 8 off of that plant. I don't know if you can see those. This plant. There's a nice potato. Yeah, this is what I got off that first plant. It was like that. This couple in the middle there were kind of, hopefully they were the anomaly and not the norm. I lost track already. Was this 5 or 6? You can see when there's been like slugs or something. I assume it's slugs doing that. I don't know. There's big creases in there. Here, this is like when a seed potato is spent, they just find the skin laying in there. Much different than this entire potato. That's so weird to me. I think I pulled most of these up when I was digging that other plant. Wow. So again, I had 20 potatoes of the Alba Blush, and I'd harvested at least 1 hill out of here. And then I had 7 of the Caribe. And without actually weighing them, I would say I got almost the same, just a slightly smaller harvest out of those 7 Caribe than I did out of the 20 Alba Blush. Because I know what I took off before was 3 to 4, like probably mostly this size, the odd one, this size out of the Alba Blush out of the other piles. So not a whole great producer for me here. And I couldn't remember why I only grew it the 1 year before, But that's probably why I was like, I don't need these anymore. And then I decided to try them again, but they just are not great. And I find them a very dry potato, which I don't really care for. I really love the Caribe. They are my favorite potato. They are a very waxy potato, which I like. They're very white inside with the purple flesh, and I use them for everything. I wouldn't recommend them for like French fries, but I roast them, I bake them, I mash them, I boil them. I like them for everything. They are a little bit scabby this year, but these are from my own seed potatoes, I think, if I remember. The Alba Blush has a tiny bit of scab, but not much. But overall, a pretty good harvest. This will feed us for several months. And I have another bed of potatoes. I can't remember the variety there, but they're a longer day, so they're gonna take a bit longer to finish up. But I have taken a few potatoes off of there. So these are Kennebec. So that's the bed we were just in. There's the Kennebec. And like I said, they're longer day potatoes, so they need more days to maturity. And they're obviously not quite ready. I have harvested a row that was on the other side of that squash trellis there. And I have actually planted, I found a few more Caribe that I forgot I'd set aside. So I put them in here, and I have no idea if I'll get any out of them. But they had big, long, crazy sprouts on them. You can see there. And there's, what did I put in there? 8. So we'll see if they do anything. I mean, they're shaded by squash on both sides, and they're planted super late. I just did that last week, I think. But the Kennebec should be coming out. Oh, they don't look super close yet. They're starting to turn and fall over in yellow, but they're gonna need, I'd say, at least a few more weeks of hot, warm, sunny weather. And then we will be taking those out. But this bed is all cleaned out now. And I don't know, I considered putting some peas in here, but that frost warning that we had last night, now I'm just not too sure. So I'm gonna think about that. I'll level it all out, make it pretty. But I have a family breakfast to go to, so I'm gonna clean up these potatoes. These have been in here, they're dried out. The skins are really nice. Like they don't rub off at all anymore, like they're hardened off. If yours are still pretty fresh and new, or in damper soil, then you need to leave them out somewhere shaded with good air circulation so they can kind of harden off the skin. And then just store them in a nice cool place. You know, just, I don't know, I find like around 10 degrees Celsius is about perfect. And covered out of the light so they don't develop any green. Like this one, you can see I poked up above the soil a little bit, so it has a little bit of green. That will develop a poisonous substance in there, so you can still save this. It won't last as long. Oh, there's some scab on this one too. But you can just cut the green off when you go to cook and use the rest. I've never found that to be an issue doing that way. And the scab, again, like it looks ugly, but you can peel that off or just scrape it a little bit. And you can still eat these. They're fine to eat, safe to eat with scab for sure. But I'd put any that are green aside so you can eat them first, because they won't store as well. And otherwise, you don't really want to wash them. You can brush some loose dirt off. Just put them, like I said, out of the light with air circulation. A cardboard box or a gunny sack bag or something works well. Somewhere around 10 degrees is ideal, but we can't all reach that. But that's what you would do. So thanks for coming to harvest potatoes with me today. Oh, I wanted to show you that one huge, I mean, I caught some giant Caribes, which isn't super abnormal, but before we go, where is that one? It was one of the first ones I pulled out of here. Oops. Like, look at this. This is a big potato. And that one's even bigger. This is kind of your average medium-sized potato. Look at that. It's crazy. So, got big potatoes out of the Caribes, which I expect they usually are. Like, this is almost a meal for my husband and I. This definitely is. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.